Evil comes in all shapes and sizes. Today we're here to talk about the fairer sex. Who are these women? From female serial killers and ruthless political dictators to feared drug queenpins and sadistic Nazi commandants, here are the 7 most evil women in history. Number 1. Elizabeth Bathory. Aptly nicknamed the Blood Countess, Elizabeth Bathory was a Hungarian noblewoman, and she was probably the most prolific female serial killer of all time. At the end of the 16th century and beginning of the 17th century, Bathory tortured and killed up to 650 girls and young women at her castle in Kachtas, modern Slovakia. The macabre nickname came from her apparent tendency to bathe in the blood of her victims, as she believed it would help her maintain her youthful-looking skin. Number 2. Mary Tudor. The only child of King Henry VIII and Catherine of Aragon to survive into adulthood, Mary Tudor was the very first Queen of England. However, she is remembered as one of the most bloodthirsty, tyrannical, and evil women in English history. Known as Bloody Mary, she is best known for her brutal religious persecutions of Protestants and the executions of over 300 subjects. She also had her first cousin, Lady Jane Grey, who also wanted to claim the throne, beheaded. Number 3. Dagmar Overby. Dagmar Overby was a Danish serial killer who murdered up to 25 children, including one of her own, during a 7-year period from 1913 to 1920. Overby was working as a professional child caretaker, caring for babies born outside of marriage. Out of the babies she killed, some were strangled, some drowned, and the rest burned to death in her masonry heater. In March 1921, Overby was sentenced to death in one of the most watched murder trials in Danish history. The sentence was later commuted to life in jail. Overby died in prison in 1929, aged 42. Number 4. Irma Grese. Nicknamed the Hyena of Auschwitz, Irma Grese was one of the most notorious and brutal of the female Nazi war criminals. She was also one of only a few women concentration camp workers who was hanged for war crimes by the Allies. In 1943, Grese was in control of around 30,000 women prisoners, many of whom she tortured both physically and emotionally. She wore heavy boots, carried a whip and a gun, and enjoyed shooting prisoners in cold blood. Survivors reported that she seemed to derive great sexual pleasure from these acts of sadism. Number 5. Amelia Dyer. Born in 1837 in Bristol, UK, Amelia Dyer is one of the most prolific serial killers in history. During 30 years in Victorian Britain, Dyer killed about 300 infants that she was supposed to take care of. During that time, Britain was struggling with a pandemic problem of infanticide. Bodies of dead babies scattered on British streets were too common to be considered newsworthy, which is one of the reasons why Dyer was able to do her gruesome work for so long. She was arrested in April 1869 and hung 2 months later. Number 6. Daria Saltykova. A notorious Russian female serial killer and noblewoman of the 18th century, Daria Saltykova is known for torturing and murdering up to 140 of her serfs. Because of her noble origin, unusual brutality, and sadistic lust for blood, Daria Saltykova is often compared to the Hungarian Blood Countess, Elizabeth Bathory, who committed similar crimes. Number 7. Leonardo Ciancelli. Between 1939 and 1940, Italian female serial killer Leonardo Ciancelli murdered 3 women and made tea cakes and soap out of their remains. This terrifying act earned her the nickname of the soap maker of Correggio. Ciancelli was an extremely superstitious woman, and she allegedly committed the grisly crimes to break a family curse that was inflicted on her by her parents for marrying a man they did not like. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe and smash the like button.